What's up, everybody? Last week we got Season 6 of Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone, so today we are back with my best loadouts so far for Season 6. Unless anything gets nerfed or buffed, or depends on what the mid-season looks like, but these are the best loadouts for Season 6. And a little hint, there is no SMGs on this list. We'll talk about it more when we do the list, and I'll prove myself right afterwards. But there is no SMGs on this list. Surprising, I know. And it'll kind of give a spoiler for when I do my close range video later this week, which subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want to see that and you want to see that first. And while you're doing that, please don't forget to like, and after you watch the video, comment down below what you think of my loadouts. Am I smart? Am I dumb? Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know down below. But let's go ahead and jump into these loadouts. Okay, so we're going to start off first with a not serious loadout, the troll loadout. If you haven't heard about it, it is the Cat AMR with the conversion kit, the Jack Salvo, which makes it into a rocket launcher that literally one hits at like every range, no matter where you hit on the body. So if you hit a guy on a pinky toe from 500 meters away, it's going to one shot. So it's a troll loadout. If you go to, I guess I got to click on one to go to the stats. The bullet velocity is like 200. It's not really usable. It says effective damage range 78 meters. You probably can't shoot people outside of that, but I believe it is one shot. I guess it's not. I guess it's up to 78 meters, but I don't think this is right because I've seen clips of people one-shotting it everywhere. Anyways, it one-shots a lot, and it's the FSS OLEV laser for aim stability mostly, but ADS and sprint to fire speed, precision stock for aim idle sway and firing aim stability, ephemeral bolt for fire rate, that was bad. Singer LR grip for aim idle sway and flinch resistance. You can't put any ammo, a magazine, a muzzle, or a barrel on it, so that's why you have stock and a rear grip on this. You could change the optic to like a thermal if you wanted. Some people have been doing red dot sights and using it up close, and then of course you have to have the aftermarket part kit. And then I just paired it with what I think is the best AR sniper support. So if you're using a heavy sniper, which essentially this is, you do want a more capable sniper support for medium range. That's the MCW. Of course, you have to have the Jack Raven kit on it. Then we have the Quartermaster Suppressor, the best muzzle in the game. The DR6 hand stop, which I think is a slept-on attachment. A lot of people go with the Jack Slash on close range builds. Some people will still go with the paracord grip. I think it's still between the XRK Edge and the BW4 hand stop because if you look, you get movement speed, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed. The DR6 hand stop, you get sprint fire speed, aim down sight speed, and movement speed, something that you need with an AR sniper support. And when you go to the DR6 hand stop, oops, that's the wrong button, you can see we get plus 4% movement speed, 8% movement speed, ADS movement speed plus 7%, and you still get ADS speed 6%, sprint to fire speed 9%. You get more movement speed with the XRK Edge, but if you look at the ADS speed, 5% benefit and sprint to fire 6% benefit, which is lower than our 6 and 9%. So we go with the DR6 hand stop there. 40 round mag, of course, because we want the bigger mag. And then I think it's up to you. You can go optic, stock, or ammunition here. If you want to go with ammunition, go with the blackout high grain rounds, which would add 15% bullet velocity. You're at 480 now, which is a little low, but you know, I just say lead your shots. So to compete with SMGs more, I have the A90 Venom stock, which helps movement speed and sprint speed. Since that's going to be the secondary, you'll be rotating and stuff with your hand. And then whatever tactical, lethal, and perks you like. Then we go into the long-range sniper. I still prefer the Cat because it's what I'm used to, and I don't long-range snipe a lot, but the Moors is the best sniper. I mean, if you just look at the fire rate, which rate of fire is 200 rounds per minute, the other snipers don't touch that. Plus, it's one shot at every range with this build, with the old build that it's been, the Tone Heavy Barrel, the SL Razorhawk Light, the HVT Anti-Material Slugs, the Quick Bolt. The Material Slugs what makes it one shot at all range. Obviously, we have the Razorhawk for the best aim down sight and sprint to fire times possible. And the Tone Heavy Barrel helps push the bullet velocity. You don't need the Emperor Long Barrel for damage range because it's going to one shot at all ranges with the Anti-Material Slugs. I think the biggest difference here between mine and some other people's loadouts is I prefer the Icarus Light stock because it helps that ADS and sprint to fire. I know a lot of people like the Super Light, which helps movement speed and sprint to fire even more, but the aim idle sway it creates is just not worth it to me. Plus, it hurts flinch resistance, whereas the Icarus light stock only hurts aim walking steadiness, which is when you're walking while you're ADS'd, and it's not really a big deal for a sniper. Again, we have that exact same MCW build for sniper support, and I actually really think the iron sights are really pretty good. And there's not a lot of recoil. Those iron sights are pretty clear. I mean, you can clearly see the entire dummy downrange. No control on the recoil, and it's pretty much straight up and a little bit to the right. Super easy to control. Definitely don't need an optic if you ask me, and definitely don't need to put any more recoil control besides the quartermaster suppressor on it. So that is going to be our long range sniper. The aggressive sniper is the car. Nothing's different here. Sonic suppressor, the 7.62 long barrel. The other barrels still just don't really do anything. SL Razorhawk for the best aim down sight and sprint to fire time. The high grain rounds, and then whatever optic. I know a lot of people run thermals. I still prefer the SPX 80. I just like the cleanness of it. I know some people will throw on no stock, drop the rounds or the Laserhawk for the no stock if you really want, but the flinch resistance just becomes absolutely horrendous. And some other people also do the target sling for the aim down sight speed, but more of that is just if you don't want to be visible with your laser, which if you're being aggressive in sniping, I don't think that's that big of a deal. And then now we're starting to get to the no SMGs on the list. There is no static on this list. Like I said, we'll go to true game data for a second after this and talk about that. But I personally think the BP50 is the best SMG for a couple reasons that we'll look at. But we got the quartermaster suppressor, which I finally come around to on SMGs. I didn't want to hurt the ADS more, but it's just so worth it over the Zem. The Chimera, however you say it, Royale 33 laser. It's the same as the Razorhawk laser, just with a different name, where you get the sprint to fire and aim down sight speed like crazy. Then we have the high grain rounds, and we have, of course, we have to have the conversion kit. Should be the first thing I mentioned, but we have the conversion kit on here. Then we have the TRST IV grip tape for recoil control, gun control, and firing aim stability, which is the visual recoil, and part of the reason why we don't need the ZEM 35 compensator on here. The other ones give you flinch resistant aim idle sway benefits and tack stance spread and sprint to fire. You could drop either the high grain rounds or the laser if you wanted for an optic. I would personally keep this loadout the way it is now. I mean, if we go into the firing range again, iron sights are clean. Even at long range, you can pretty clearly see the dummy. We'll do recoil on the other side. The recoil, it's a little bit jittery left to right, but if you just pull down and then towards the end of it, pull a little down and to the right, no big deal at all. This is the loadout that I would run. You could put an optic on it, and I'd probably drop the high grain. I'm somebody who's not as worried about damage range and bullet velocity on their close range option, much as some people. Other people might drop the laser because it still's got really good ADS time, and put an optic, but I don't think you need an optic. So, and then once again, whatever tactical lethal you want. Then we go into the best LMG, which has an argument for being the best overall loadout. The BP50 is going to be the same, and I think it's on the next two loadouts as well, so we're not going to keep talking about that. But if you look at if you go to true game data, which we'll do a long range video later this week as well, and look at the Pulmiot, its time to kill is really close with our next two options, but it also wall bangs like everything. So it's got crazy good bullet penetration. And we got the quartermaster suppressor as usual. I'm not even explaining muzzles anymore. Quartermaster's just the way to go. Then we have the heavy barrel for the recoil control, bullet velocity and range, gun kick control. We got recoil control and gun kick control on the Reckoning heavy barrel, but there's not a whole lot of recoil on the Pulmiot anyways. The light barrel doesn't help with anything that we need for long range, and the Supremacy short barrel obviously doesn't either. Choice of optic, I just like the 2x, or the 2.5 times rather. If you watch my videos before or watch stream, I always tell you I can't use 1 times because I can't see it. I probably need to go to an eye doctor, but whatever. Then we have the Woodstock here. The Woodstock gives gun kick control, recoil control, and firing aim stability, which is that visual recoil. On you can also consider the Ivanov HSS ergonomic stock. It helps with gun kick control, firing aim stability, and helps with move speed, but it doesn't help with recoil control. And then the heavy stock doesn't help with the firing aim stability that the other two stocks do, but it's also worth something to consider if you don't mind the visual recoil because it actually hurts it, or if you use the 1 time. But I would just stick with the Ivanov Woodstock. And then finally, an odd thing in loadouts is we have the demo TL20 recoil grip. There is no Bruin Heavy available for the Pull-Me-On, so we don't go with that. Some people would go down here and go with the high velocity or the high grain rounds. If you don't like the recoil control negatives, you can go with the high velocity, but it does hurt your damage range. But I don't think it needs it. If we go to the details, it's got 921 meters per second. That's 912. That's plenty bullet velocity. Like I said, there's no Bruin Heavy, and you're not going to go to a bigger magazine. We don't necessarily need the laser, even though this is the slowest ADSing gun ever. And when you go to the grips, we get firing aim stability, which is really good because I use the 2.5 times, plus gun kick control and a little bit of recoil control. The true tack grip doesn't help you with long range. In fact, it hurts you. The MWIII is another decent option. Gives you aim down sight time, which is big, plus gun kick control, recoil control, but the firing aim stability is really nice. The Ivanov ST70 grip doesn't give you recoil or gun kick control, and the Brace LS does not either. So go between the Knot or the Knot Z3 grip or the Demo TL20 grip, depending if you want the firing aim stability more or the aim down sight speed. But this is the loadout that I would run for the Pull-Me-On, which is the best LMG in the argument for best long range in the game, which we'll talk about more later this week. Then we go to the best AR. Once again, we got the BP50 on here. We're going to talk about it, I promise, after we go through these loadouts. But it's the STG. Now, I did label this best AR for a reason. You probably know why. Quartermaster suppressor again. Then we got the 7.92 barrel, which I'm not going to try to say, but it helps with bullet velocity and range and helps aim idle sway. The other option is the C70 barrel. The C70 barrel hurts gun kick control, but it gives you more bullet velocity and range than the 7.92 barrel. But the 7.92 barrel hurts movement speed. Long range, I'm more worried about helping my recoil control and my gun kick control. But either of these barrels, it's up to your preference. The big difference is just leading your shot more with the 7.92 barrel and not hurting that gun kick control. I think that's the biggest difference there. Then we have the Bruin Heavy support grip. Pretty self-explanatory. Firing aim stability, horizontal recoil control, and gun kick control. I don't think there's a better option for underbarrel. If you didn't want to run the Bruin Heavy for its negatives, you can go the DR79 combo stock, which a lot of people run with the gun kick control, the recoil control, and the firing aim stability, all really good. But I like that there's an emphasis on horizontal recoil control with the Bruin Heavy underbarrel, but either one, that comes down to preference between the Bruin Heavy support grip and the D79 stock. And then, of course, the 50-round drum, so we can have our max amount of ammo. I mean, if you're playing solos or duos, go the 40-round drum so you don't hurt your ADS and movement speed as much. I think the reload speed is about the same. And then finally, the best overall loadout. We all know what it is if we're paying attention. It's going to be the DTIR. And once again, I have the BP50, which we will talk about after the DTIR. Quartermaster suppressor, self-explanatory. There's a couple different long barrels, which I'll link the video down below where we talked a little bit more about all of this. But the X10 long barrel, damage range, bullet velocity, movement speed. The other long barrel, damage range, recoil control, bullet velocity, hurts movement speed. This is a case where this gun has absolutely zero recoil, so we don't need the extra recoil. We take the movement speed. Your choice of optic, 40-round mag because it's the biggest mag. I wish there's a 50. And then the rifleman stock. Recoil control, aim idle sway, gun kick control. But since there's absolutely no recoil, we avoid the Bruin Heavy here. But once again, it'll come down to preference. You could run the Bruin Heavy there. So those are going to be our best loadouts. Run through them again. Troll loadout is going to be the Cat with the rocket launcher conversion. Your best long-range sniper is going to be the Moors, and I'd pair it with the MCW sniper support. Aggressive sniper is going to be Carr with the BP50 aftermarket kit. Best LMG is the Pull-Me-On, again with the BP50. The best AR is the STG, again with the BP50. And then finally the DTIR, which is the best gun in the game, but it's a battle rifle. That's why it's not under best AR, and the BP50. So now as for the BP50, here's why there is no static on my list. So this is the typical combination values for true game data that we just use as a basis, because you're not going to hit all headshots, next shots. You're not going to hit all in one area. So we go combination. Tony from True Game Data did calculations to have these as the default data points. So we trust him on that. And if you look, the static with no ADS time or sprint to fire time consideration, does not kill as fast as either the BP50 or the MCW. And of course, the MCW is a little bit different on this list because it is purely the long-range sniper support. We were not using it as an SMG, especially because the BP50's time to kill is so close. It's 9 milliseconds until it drops off, and then it's a little bit jarring. And it's why some people will prefer the static over the BP50 is for that extra 3.5 meters, but I'll take the faster time to kill by, we'll just go right at the start, by 48 milliseconds. I'll take that faster time to kill, but it's understandable why some people would choose the static. So then we go to ADS time. If you look at ADS time, that's where the MCW comes behind the static. So if we're talking pure SMG use, I don't use the MCW, but it is the best sniper support for a less aggressive sniper class. And sprint to fire, the gap becomes bigger between the MCW and the static and smaller between the BP50. So once again, if you prefer the static, there's nothing wrong with that. I just think the BP50 is the best. And so even when we come down here and we look at some other values, ADS move time, the static wins by a good amount. The BP50 is actually kind of slow there. But the ADS time, BP50 slightly wins. Bullet velocity, the static actually does win. The 986 fire rate is of the BP50. Well, it helps you make more hit more shots and be more consistent. It does give credence to the static's time to kill of you won't run out of ammo as fast. You flinch less with the BP50. Where I really like it is the mag size is 60, so that helps balance out that fire rate. But the move speed is actually a little bit slower. The reload time is a little bit slower, but you are killing faster, and to me, that's what's most important. The attack sprint speed is the same. I do prefer the BP50, but I see why people have the static. But when all things are so close statistically down below, non-time to kill stuff, and you look at including ADS time, the BP50 wins. Including sprint to fire time, the BP50 wins. Including neither of those, the BP50 wins in the combination. Headshots, the BP50 beats the static. Neck shots, the BP50 is the best. Chest shots, it beats the static. Stomach, it slightly loses the static, but it's so close. Upper arm beats the static. Lower arm, upper leg, lower leg. So everything except the stomach, it beats the static. I prefer the BP50. If you prefer the static, there's nothing wrong with that. But we will talk about that more later this week in my close range video. So those are my loadouts. That's what I would recommend. Try them out for yourself. Mix in the static, see if maybe those loadouts work better for you. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. My loadouts, like I said, am I smart? Am I dumb? Let me know down below. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Twitch is linked down below. All the socials are linked down below. True Game Data is linked down below. Check out what you want to check out. Always grateful if you follow me or interact with me on any platforms. And I always have to shout out True Game Data. But I will see you on Urzikstan, Vondel, Rebirth Island, and Fortune's Keep. Get frying. Have a good day.